up, everyone? Welcome back to the Charter Podcast, brought to you by St. Xavier University. I'm Ruthie Polinsky with 𝗂𝗏 and we are getting ready for the NFL season, which kicks off tonight. Cowboys and Eagles. We'll talk a little bit about that game, and then we'll get into season predictions. Bears-Vikings. Football season is here, 𝗂𝗏. It feels like Christmas.
I know. It's finally here. It's like, is it actually happening? And also, fly, Eagles, fly. For those of you who don't know, if you listen to this, you probably do know. Eagles were the team that drafted me, so we are rooting for the Eagles tonight.
Okay, love that. You're wearing a little shade of green. For anyone who's watching our show right now and not listening, you are watching us in our gorgeous new podcast studio here at CHSN. We are so grateful to our producer, Edgar, for getting this all unfolded and unpacked and looking gorgeous, and we love it. It's really beautiful.
I feel like I'm in the city right here.
Yeah, it's like we're right on the river.
Yeah.
Okay, we love it. All right, Clay, let's get into this Vikings-Bears showdown. As we heard from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams yesterday, we got our first injury report just minutes ago. Obviously, with this being a weird schedule week, we got the injury report for the Bears just a little while ago. What are you thinking for this matchup? What will you be looking for? What's going to be the biggest test for this Bears team?
I think first you got to start off and you got to make sure that Braxton Jones is able to match up against Jonathan Greenard. I think that's a huge matchup for the Bears. Braxton Jones is a guy that just doesn't quite seem to be himself, and him at full strength, I don't know if that was great, but he's got to hold up this week because obviously with all the confusion that Brian Flores' defense does bring, you find a lot of one-on-one matchups with your offensive line, and I feel like I'm comfortable with the rest of the guys, right? But Braxton has to hold up, and Jonathan Greenard, last season, when you look at what Brian Flores' defense did against Caleb Williams, they had 34 pressures in 2 meetings, including 3 sacks by Jonathan Greenard. So that is one of those matchups that I am really looking at. And then you look a little bit further into Greenard, Ruthie, and I know you love the stats that I bring. It doesn't put you to sleep or anything. But he was one of 2 edge rushers to have 50 pressures, more than 10 sacks, 25 run stops, and 10 stuffs per PFF. And the only player to have those numbers, Myles Garrett. So you got to realize that he is a top-level guy, and you got to know where he is at all times.
The good news in the last 2 years, Ben Johnson is 4-0. Against the Minnesota Vikings and Brian Flores' defense. Of course, Ben Johnson was the play caller for the Detroit Lions, but he's familiar with Brian Flores. The thing that's so tricky about what Brian Flores does is that he disguises his coverages. So it's really hard to game plan against him because it's hard to identify the defense at the line of scrimmage.
This stat almost seems fake, but in those last 2 years, the 4-0, Ben Johnson's averaging 30.5 points a game, and he has scored 16 touchdowns and punted 12 times.
It's unbelievable.
That seems crazy. But here's the other thing. So to me, I liken it to a race car driver. This guy was great with this race car. I don't know. Jeff Gordon was great with the 24 car. He goes to a new car. Different car, handles differently. Might not be as fast. Might be better acceleration. Not as fast. Not as good in turning. So can you win with a different car? Because this is a different car for Ben Johnson. I think he can. He's a guy that can take what's around him, make the most of it, find the weaknesses, maximize the strengths, and really get after this defense of Brian Flores. Another thing that he does so well is get the ball out. We talked about yesterday in the Big Pro Football Show, he was #1 in the NFL, averaging 6.7 yards after the catch. So after the ball's caught, every time he was first in the NFL, averaging 6.7 yards after the catch.
The problem is it won't be Ben Johnson, the one on the field distributing the football. It's Caleb Williams, who told us yesterday his mindset going into this game is get the ball in the hands of my playmakers, which is, I think, music to Bears fans' ears. That's exactly what you want to hear him do. Ben Johnson also saying yesterday that what's keeping him up right now in this game plan is making sure all his horses are fed. And I love that for him because it's nice to hear that he believes he has the weapons that I think Bears fans also believe he has. So a lot of mouths to feed, Clay, but it's a good problem to have. And the nice thing for Caleb Williams is that any read you have, if anyone's open, you've got a threat on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
With all of these guys.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, Ruthie, he must have grown up on a farm. because he's used to feeding all these horses. You look at Detroit, what he was able to do with 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher. David Montgomery had 1,000 all-purpose yards. Sam Laporta, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's used to getting guys the ball and getting his horses fed. So I think he's going to have a great game plan to distribute it all around the field if they can protect. And you got to stay in manageable down and distances, because once you give Brian Flores just an inch, you give him a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 8, that's when he can start confusing you with all these different pressure looks.
And Caleb Williams actually handled the blitz relatively well last season as a rookie. So that's got to be able to give him some confidence going into this matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one thing, like, reps breeds confidence, right? And J.J. McCarthy doesn't have that, and Caleb Williams does. He's seen Brian Flores' defense twice before. So once you start seeing these similar schemes, these similar plays, you start noticing certain things.
Yeah.
And then we talked about cadence, right? You can use a cadence as a weapon, and you're at home. What the cadence does, yes, a cadence keeps a defense off balance. Yes, it can get you a cheap 5 yards. But for me, my favorite thing about the cadence, I know I've been saying this in the Big Pro Football Show, if I could speak, Ruthie.
Football Show.
Yes, the cadence. What I like about it, if you use it correctly, you can go through a fake cadence on 3rd down. So now the defense has to declare what they're doing because they think you're snapping the ball.
Yeah.
If they're disguising a coverage, that safety's got to start getting back to his depth. That linebacker's got to start getting up to his depth to blitz, or he's not going to hit there. That defensive back is going to have to show if he's blitzing or if he's back off in coverage. So when you can use this cadence as a weapon, you can start. It's kind of like a multiple choice answer, Ruthie. And instead of having 4 questions, 4 answers, now you only got 2.
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing this or that, and that makes things that much easier, and that makes their success rate so much more high.
Braxton Jones named the starting left tackle. It sort of feels like old news because we've had a lot of news over the course of this week. You like that move?
Yeah, you got to. He's a guy with experience. We saw last year what happened when Karana Magaji, as a rookie, tried to play against the Minnesota Vikings. Jonathan Grenard already mentioned him. Didn't go well. Braxton is a guy that's played against the Vikings several times. He has 40 NFL starts. He's been here before. He started NFL games in the first game of the season. So is he 100% healthy himself? I'm not sure. I think he'll keep improving, but he's a guy you trust. You know he knows the scheme. You don't want to put 𝗁cie out there who's not very comfortable left tackle. Theo Benedict, the Canadian Eagle, he's played well in camp, but I don't think he's ready for the big time yet. So I think this is the right move to put Braxton out there, and he's a guy that I think could surprise people and have a good game.
All right, let's switch sides of the ball. Let's talk about this Dennis Allen defense against this Minnesota Vikings offense, because I think there is so much unknown, Clay, when it comes to J.J. McCarthy, what this offense is going to look like, how free can he play in his NFL regular season debut.
I think it comes down to how the Vikings run the ball. They can't come out throwing the ball in an away environment. This guy's basically a rookie. He spent last year on the team trying to learn the playbook, but they got to give the ball to Aaron Jones. And you look at what Aaron Jones did in the last 2 meetings against the Bears. He compiled 235 yards from scrimmage total, including 106 rushing the November 24th game at Soldier Field in a pair of Viking wins. And they bring in Jordan Mason, who to me is a tough runner. This guy averaged 5.2 yards per carry last year in San Francisco. I think he might get as many carries as Aaron Jones. So the Bears, first things first. You got to stop the run, something they did not do last year. So once you stop the run, I think now you'll have an opportunity to rush the passer. Dennis Allen can scheme some things up. But firstly, you need Grady Jarrett, you need Gervon Dexter, Dio Dangbo, Montez Sweat to stop the run. Big Bill obviously getting there. And then your linebackers. We need to stop the run first. And then from there, I think you can do some things that confuse a young quarterback.
So I think it's important to note we just got our first injury report of the week. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Haven't seen it yet.
You just got off the set doing your other show.
Yeah.
Cheating on us.
I'm not a cheater, guys. Don't spread that rumor.
TJ Edwards did not participate today. Yeah.
Ooh.
Look at your face.
That's a natural reaction right there.
Yeah, and TJ Edwards, we didn't see him out there yesterday at practice. Obviously, what we get to see when we're out there is very limited. TJ Edwards and Roschon Johnson were two of the notable guys not out there yesterday. So we were curious to see what today. They didn't practice today, Clay. So today's like an estimation, as they would say. If they did practice, this is how these guys would have participated. TJ Edwards would not have practiced today if they held practice. So I think that's noteworthy. Jalen Johnson limited. Kyle Monungai also limited. Those are guys that are working their way back and ramping up. So I think, I mean, your reaction to TJ Edwards, I think we got to dive a little deeper there.
Wow. He's a guy that's played in, I think, 51 straight NFL football games. He is a guy that you can just count on week in and week out. I know he's been dealing with like some knee stuff. He's got some issues and he's been working through some stuff. But man, run game wise, that is huge. That is massive for the Bears because
hamstring.
It's a
hamstring.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
And did not practice. That's not good. If you're limited, okay, maybe he can play, but it did not practice. To me, being in the NFL for 9 years, playing, you don't practice today, which is obviously your Wednesday because we're playing on Monday, but your Wednesday practice, obviously you got to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But that's a huge loss because Ruben Hippolyte, I'm sorry, he's a guy that's got some talent. He's not ready.
Noah Sewell.
Obviously, Noah Sewell is a guy that's been here a while. He's had some good plays in the preseason.
He had a nice camp,
He had a nice camp. I just don't think he's ready. TJ is so good at diagnosing and getting to the ball. He's such a smart player. He's a leader on that defense. Not a captain this year. Was a captain last year. He's a guy that you look to when things are going awry. So that is a big loss for the Bears if he's not able to play. We'll obviously keep everybody updated on that once we hear more. But if he can't play, it's a huge loss.
I guess best case scenario for TJ is like you're hoping they're just playing it safe. And since he's somebody that did practice all camp and did play all preseason, you know, that's somebody that like if he needs to just go out there, you know, Saturday, test it out and then plays, you know, Saturday test it out, Sunday test it out, play Monday. You got some time, right, for a guy like TJ. Whereas Jalen, who didn't practice all summer, it needs a ramp up, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit more of a conditioning ramp up than TJ would need if he didn't practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I might need to can you get on the horn? Can you call TJ and just be like, dude.
I'm gonna call TJ and see what's going on here. But Jalen Johnson to 75% is to me a better option than Nahshon Wright at 100%. I'll say that again. But the problem with the groin, Ruthie, you know that's the injury that ended my NFL career, is it's so touchy. You could do one move, and especially not being conditioned. You re-injure it just like that. The next thing you know, he's dealing with the groin throughout the year. So if he's not 100%, I don't want him out there. Especially playing cornerback, at least you don't have a good receiver coming. Justin Jefferson.
Right.
You know, like, come on, this is the best receiver in the NFL. You don't want to put him out there against Justin Jefferson. He's a competitor. He's going to try to go 100%. Next thing you know, he tweaks his groin again. He's out. Nahshon Wright's in anyways. So you got to make sure that Jalen is ready to go because, I mean, you don't want him dealing with this the entire season.
Last I checked, I had not seen the Vikings injury report out, which I'm very curious because I did see that Harrison Smith was not spotted by the Minnesota Vikings. And then I guess everyone, you know, really wants to see Justin Jefferson's availability. He's someone that's dealt with some soft tissue issues this training camp as well. So a lot to keep our eye on, Clay. Let's quickly get your game pick for this Bears-Vikings showdown before we get into the rest of the league stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears here. I know they're a home dog in division, and the Bears have lost 5 straight games at Soldier Field.
Why are they a home dog?
Because they've lost 5 straight games at Soldier Field.
I mean, I guess.
Against a quarterback that hasn't taken a snap.
Essentially a rookie.
Essentially a rookie. You got to take that as some disrespect. In that locker room, don't think that they're not talking about that.
Okay.
Listen, they're picking them at home in our house. This guy hasn't taken a snap yet on the field. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Ben Johnson's probably bringing that up. He's going to have these boys fired up.
Yeah.
New defensive coordinator, new defense, offensive line. Good. Obviously, we talked about Braxton, but I think the Bears will pull this one out. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. But Caleb has shown the affinity to be able to bring the Bears back in these close games. They haven't closed a lot of them out, but he has done his part. So I'm confident that if it is close, you got Ben, you got Caleb. These are two guys that when the pressure's on, they can perform.
I do believe in my deepest hearts that Caleb Williams is someone who shines when the lights are bright.
Yeah.
And I think he likes the show. He likes the performance. And that's a good thing. You want that from your quarterback. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm picking the Bears too, Clay. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a one-score game. maybe a 3-point game. Maybe 𝗁_𝗏𝗀 is the hero in this one at the end of the game. That'd be something.
Your guy.
You want to talk about turning the page from last year? You set up 𝗁_𝗏𝗀 for a game-winning field goal, and it actually goes in, and you use your timeouts correctly, and everything goes smoothly. It would be a miracle. It'd be a nice way to start the season. So I'm going Bears by 3 for my actual score. I'm gonna hold off till Monday, our Monday Big Pro Football show. I'm gonna be on the field pregame.
Okay.
We'll do I'll do our show from there, so that'll be fun. All right, I want to get into our division winners for the NFL.
Let's go.
Okay, our division winners. Oh, Edgar the GOAT sent me the injury report. Wow. Okay, hold on. We got to talk about this. Christian 𝗂𝗏 did not participate with a knee.
Ooh.
Jalen Naylor has a hand. He was a full participant. Xavier Scott, ankle, did not participate. Harrison Smith, illness, did not participate. Yeah. Andrew Van Ginkel, neck, full participant. Elijah Williams, hamstring, did not participate. That Christian 𝗂𝗏 won. And Harrison Smith, obviously, if he's sick, but also hurt. No. Is he? He's been kind of... Do we know what's going on with him?
He's had an illness. It's been an illness. It's something that happened to him off the field. It's been an illness. I don't think he's practiced at all in training camp. He's been off field, hasn't been there, and he's the quarterback of that defense, but they haven't had him for most of training camp. But the Christian 𝗂𝗏, their offensive tackle, one of the best tackles in the league. It's not like they're going up against some trained killers. This is something I talked about on the Big Pro Football show the other day. I don't know if you heard it, so I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
I think you heard it, but how many sacks do you think?
I know.
Oh, you know. So
tell our listeners.
The Bears, 4 active edge rushers. Total number of sacks all last season, 8.5. 8.5. That's not a lot of pass rush right there. And obviously, Austin Booker, I got high hopes for him. He's not active because he's still on IR, short-term IR. Hopefully, get him back soon. But between Dayo Odeyingbo, between Montez Sweat, obviously you got Dominique Robinson, Daniel Hardy. They have 8.5 total sacks. You got to get some production out of that room when you're going against Andrew Van Ginkel. He had 11.5, and Jonathan Grenard had 12.5. Both of them almost doubled up the Bears. They did double up the Bears.
All right, let's get into our division winners for 2025. All right,
let's do it.
I got mine. We're doing this on the Big Pro Football show today, too. So I got mine ready. Here we go. All right. AFC East. I got Buffalo.
Got to go with Buffalo.
Okay. AFC North.
Baltimore.
I got Baltimore. AFC South. This is a tough one. It's the worst division in football.
I'm going to go with the Texans.
I'm going Jacksonville. There was a part of me. There was a part of me that was like very close, Clay, to picking Tennessee. I don't know.
You don't believe in the Texans, huh?
No.
I think they got a really good defense, but there's more.
I don't know. I got to see more from CJ Stroud. Obviously, he had a historic rookie campaign.
Yeah,
and it just didn't feel the same last year.
How am I going to let you take my Jaguars?
I'm taking the Jags.
And I'm not taking my Jaguars. I like the Jaguars. Liam Cohen, to me, he's a guy that you saw what he's able to do with Baker Mayfield last year.
That feels like anyone could win the division with 7 wins. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, seven wins might win that division.
All right, let's go AFC West. I got Kansas City. I got Kansas City.
You know, I might go Broncos or Chargers here. I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
I can't not pick the Chiefs.
Raiders, but Broncos and Chargers, they all made the playoffs last year. Sean Payton had Bo Nix playing well. The Chargers, obviously with Harbaugh. I mean, that's a pretty good team.
I love that division.
I'm curious to see that opening game out there in Sao Paulo tomorrow.
Yeah, Sao Paulo.
All
right, let's go NFC East.
You know where I'm going. Yeah, come on.
Me too.
You guys are lucky I didn't wear my Eagles jersey on today.
You know what, Clay? I almost effing texted you to wear your Eagles jersey.
I almost wore it.
So you know what? It brought me back to last year.
I almost wore it, but I was going to wear it like under a suit. So like I still had a suit on.
Yeah,
but you
like
just
Superman.
saw the 82 like underneath. So it wasn't just like I was wearing a jersey. So I was like casual, but I almost did it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I got the Eagles. You know what? I thought about Washington for a second.
I think Jaden Daniels might take a step back. You got a year in Cliff Kingsbury's system.
You know what they're going to do
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can game plan for him.
That defense isn't great either.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin didn't have any training camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. NFC North. I got the Lions.
This is tough, man.
It's really tough.
This is so hard.
I saw some people, like national people, picking the Bears, and I love that. Like, I love that.
All right, Chicago, don't hate me for this. Don't hate me for this.
Are you going David Haw on us?
I might go David Haw here. I just think with the addition of Parsons, obviously Kenny Clark leaving is a big hole in the defensive line, but
all right,
I gotta go. I'm going Packers.
Stand with it. Stand strong. Say it with your chest.
I'm going Packers. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm going Lions. I know there's a lot of turnover, especially with the offensive and defensive play callers, but I think there's so much talent. There's so much talent, and I think Jared Goff is going to be able to compensate for the loss of Ben Johnson. I think he knows what he's good at. He knows what they can run. He can be almost an assistant coach on the field.
Ragnow too, though. You know, obviously,
the offensive
coordinator, defensive coordinator, Ragnow, Zeitler. They got a young O-line over there. Jared Goff without Ben.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. I'm going Detroit.
Yeah.
NFC South. I got Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is the smart money. Liam Cohen leaving makes me think maybe you could go the Falcons, but that division is awful.
Josh Grizzard covered in Miami.
You like him?
He was the wide receivers coach when I was
you
there.
Convinced me. That's all it took.
Josh Grizzard.
I'm going to go Buccaneers too.
Okay, I love it. Last but not least, NFC West. I think you're going to like my pick here.
I'm going 49ers.
Okay.
I'm going bounce back year for the Niners. CMC, Brock Purdy just got paid. That guy's doing pretty well. Yeah. So I'm going the Niners. They're so good.
I think people are sleeping on him.
Yeah.
You ready for my NFC West?
I'm curious who you're going. It's not the Seahawks.
Going Seahawks.
Seahawks. So Sam Darnold action?
Give me Sam Darnold.
Inject him in your veins,
Inject him into my veins. Cooper Kupp,
Jackson
Mike McDonald,
Smith, and Jigba. Yeah, Mike McDonald had a great time in Baltimore. They were 10-7 last year.
They were a good team.
Gino. They were good.
They were a good team, and I think like there's something cooking there. And I feel like Sam Darnold's just rejuvenated. Like he's a real threat at quarterback.
Here's the thing, but obviously we know before last year he wasn't that great. I looked a little bit into the numbers for the Big Pro Football Show yesterday. I don't know if you want me to get to those because it might change your pick. But Sam Darnold before he was with the Vikings, right? So 83 passer rating, 29-37 before Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, all that jazz, TJ Hawkinson. So he might go back to that guy.
I hear you. Yeah. Listen, I gotta have one crazy pick.
He could turn out to be. Hey, he learned from Kevin O'Connell and he's able to use that now in Seattle.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, are we gonna do Super Bowl picks?
Let's do a Super Bowl
pick.
Let's
do a Super Bowl pick. I don't know who I'm not I know who my winner is.
I'm taking the Eagles back to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Against the Baltimore Ravens.
I love it.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson winning his first Super Bowl. He should have been the MVP last year. Sorry, Josh. I know you just got married to Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he is so in love with her. It's adorable.
Yeah, it's nice. Who you got, Ruthie? Stop stalling. Let's go.
All right. I got a Super Bowl rematch.
Okay.
I got Kansas City and Philadelphia back in the Super Bowl. Kansas City wins.
Don't tell me Kansas City's going to win.
Kansas City wins, and Taylor Swift is the halftime show.
Oh, you're just doing that because you're a Swiftie.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it because I think Pat Mahomes is locked in. If he's playing like that in a preseason game and he cares that much about a preseason game the way he played against the Bears, listen, I know it's preseason, but and that's not the only reason I'm picking them. I just think the Chiefs have this they're a dynasty. They are this day and age. They are the New England Patriots.
5 of the last
They're not going to go to all these Super Bowls.
5 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
It's just crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
It's crazy. And they're just not going to lose every time they're there. I just know it. So I just see them getting back there. I think Philly's my favorite to come out of the NFC, and I just see Kansas City getting the best of them this time.
Yeah, that Eagles offensive line, if they stay healthy,
it's all about
good.
health.
Yeah, it's all about health. Who stays healthiest?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And you know what I think is so interesting? Like, obviously there's a lot of parity in football and like who wins the division every year. Like that's why the NFL is the best, because you never know who's going to win the division. There's not a lot of parity, Clay, in like that Final Four.
Yeah.
Like the same teams I feel like are always
it's like
there.
Buffalo, Kansas City, Philly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
The best teams are the teams that are built the strongest. I want to, and I know this is crazy. I would love to see Detroit get far in the playoffs this year, because I just think like this is their window, and it's such a like Dan Campbell, I feel like the world just like sort of fell in love with him and like his culture and who he is as a head coach. Like it would just be so cool for him to win a Super Bowl, or
and
like at least get to the
person.
Super Bowl. I know you
like
love him.
Like,
I feel like working with you makes me love him more too.
I've talked about him a million times, but having him as a tight end coach just for an entire offseason training camp, like that guy is who he portrays himself to be on TV. Like he is the best coach to play for.
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, you guys just go out there and he's got this big dip and you guys play hard, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna get after him today. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Like you want to talk about loving football, like loving football.
All football,
and you know what?
all
I do
day.
get shades of Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson every once in a while. Like, don't you feel like you kind of see the like osmosis that took place there? Like, I feel like Ben really. It's so transparent. It's so contagious how much he loves and his passion for football in the game. So I just feel like good things are coming for Chicago. Not Super Bowl year for Bears fans quite yet, but I think
next few years, I think they'll have a chance here. We've got some good young players.
All right, 𝗂𝗏, this was a fun episode. Thank you so much for watching, listening, all the things. We got the Big Pro Football Show live from Soldier Field. Well, partially. I'll be there on Monday. Yeah. And we got a little pregame show coming up for you on Monday, like from the field. That'll be sick.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be bright lights. It's going to be awesome.
I don't know why they didn't register that you're going to be live
on the field.
During
our
before
show.
the game.
During our show.
Let's go.
It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And then we'll recap it all next week, and it'll be a great time. So thank you so much for listening to the Charter Podcast. We so appreciate you. This is brought to you by St. Xavier University. He's 𝗂𝗏. I'm Ruthie Polinsky. We'll see you next time.